world, on behalf of the Digital Cooperation Organization and Horizon Group, I would like to welcome you all on this Insights session about the 2026 Digital Economy Trends Report published by the Digital Cooperation Organization. My name is Dr. Judith Kozenkov. I'm Project Director at Horizon Group, and I will be your host for this session. There's no better strategy to start the year with learning about the trends that's shaping it, especially when it comes to the digital economy. So with this session, we will kickstart by learning about the key findings of the 2026 Digital Economy Trends Report by Dr. Syed Iftikhar Shah, the Technical Production Director from the Digital Cooperation Organization. After that, we will have a panel discussion with our distinguished experts about more insights, more in-depth about the digital economy, and also about the report, but also based on their expertise. With that, I would like to introduce our distinguished experts who will join us for this discussion, starting with Ms. Natalie Hattur, the Digital Transformation Manager at HP. Welcome. Dr. Emrys Shoemaker, Senior Director, Advisory and Policy at Caribou. Welcome, Dr. Emrys. And also, Dr. Syed will also join us for the session on the panel discussion. Welcome you all, and thank you very much for joining us today. We're looking forward to this very much fruitful discussion on the Digital Economy Trends 2026. After the panel discussion, we will also engage our audience, our distinguished audience, during the discussion with a few poll questions. And also in the end, we will have time for questions from you that our experts will answer. With that, I would like to give the floor to Dr. Syed Iftikhar Shah from the Digital Cooperation Organization to start the session by informing us about the Digital Economy Trends 2026 report key findings. Dr. Syed, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. To set the context, I will begin with a brief introduction to the DCO, followed by the main agenda of the presentation. DCO, Digital Cooperation Organization, is a unique multilateral intergovernmental organization concentrated on supporting stakeholders in addressing emerging challenges of the digital economy. Our vision and mission focus on achieving social prosperity and enhancing the growth of global sustainable digital economy. The DCO structure includes 16 member states from diverse global regions, more than 50 observers from international IT companies, research institutions, and organizations, as well as 15 partners, including WEF, UNITAR, and ITU. Understanding the evolving digital economy helps stakeholders identify new opportunities to drive growth and impact within the global digital economy landscape. The DCO released the third edition of the DET Report 2026 in Mega Event Momentum 2025 in Riyadh, KSA. Digital economic trend is intended to serve as a one-stop shop, a comprehensive resource of insight on the digital economy. The report also aims to offer guidance and establish the groundwork for stakeholder collaboration with the global digital economy ecosystem. DET 2026 report has diverse objectives such as identify digital economic trends to define, refine digital agendas, inform and empower a digital economy stakeholder with a data-driven insight, and offer quality information to boost cooperation among the stakeholders. The DET 2026 report is designed to inform and benefit multiple stakeholders group like helps policymakers to understand digital trends to inform digital strategy and policy development, provide businesses with insight to guide innovation, investment, and market positions, empowering individuals by highlighting how digital trends impact daily life, access, and opportunities. A purpose-built, diverse strategy approach was used to identify, define, and measure key digital economy trend 2026. Initially, 150 digital economic trends were identified and then finalized 18 trends with the support of domain experts. Primary data was collected from 406 DE stakeholders from 26 countries. And finally, the data is analyzed to produce actionable stakeholder relevant insights. The results of the DET 2026 survey are 9.5%. Digital economic growth rate is expected in 2026, which is 3 times faster than the global economy. Expected benefit like better access to goods and services means that digital transformation, e.g. commerce, digital payments, mobile apps, and online platform makes it easier, faster, and sometimes cheaper for people to get what they want. Expected challenges such as increased industry concentration refer to a situation where a few large companies dominate a sectors, particularly in the digital space. For example, big tech platform, cloud services provider, and e-commerce giants. Digital economy trends blueprint. The blueprint presents 18 key trends expected to shape the digital economy in 2026 under 3 themes. The trends are classified into 2 main categories, current versus emerging. The current trends with a 12 to 18-month time horizon having already demonstrated impact on the stakeholder, for example, the rise of vertical AI. The emerging trend with a 3 to 5 year time horizon has not yet materialized, however, potentially disruptive, for example, the evolving brain-machine interface. Digital economy trends don't unfold in isolation. They are part of evolving technical, socio-economic, cultural, and political ecosystem. 2 foundational dimensions influence the DE trends development. Number 1, national enabling capacities referred as drivers and digital technologies. These capacities are measured by the DCO 10 pillars. The example of drivers include digital infrastructure, digital innovation. As explained that this digital economy trend report consists of 3 themes. The first theme is sustainable intelligent ecosystems. This theme is about working together to make sure tech grow faster, but in fair, transparent, and sustainable manners. Under this theme, there are 4 current trends and 2 emerging trends. The vertical AI solutions are integrated into industry workflow to solve domain-specific problem across sectors. The vertical AI trend is evolved from digital economy trend 2025, specialized, accessible, and localized AI. The trend, the dawn of ambient intelligence, is identified as the second most socio-economically impact trend in the DET 2026. Moreover, survey respondents largely expect emerging trends, the emerging of agentic AI, to materialize by 2030 and no later than 2035. These trends indicate a shift towards intelligent, adaptive digital environments, not just individual digital technologies. The theme to empower communities requires not only access, but also agency, the knowledge, the confidence, and the ability to make informed decisions, influence outcome, and create value in the digital world. Under the theme Empowered Communities, there are 4 current trends and 2 emerging trends. The trend delivering hyper-personalization continues from DET 2025 and is expected to generate about USD 2.97 trillion in economic value. The trend safeguarding digital well-being focuses on protecting mental health and tackling the harmful impact of online information on stakeholders, especially youth in the digital age. The DET 2026, 55 respondents expect that this emerging trend AI divide will be materialized within 2 years. This theme reminds us that digital progress is only meaningful when people are empowered to take benefit from it. The last theme, trust and security. Technology is no longer just a tool. It is a central pillar of the economic power and national security. As a result, the concept of trust and security in the DCO DET report has significantly evolved, from securing individual IoT devices and isolated cybersecurity resources to comprehensive end-to-end security frameworks. Under this theme, there are 4 current trends and 2 emerging trends. The trend strengthening of end-to-end cybersecurity identified as the most socio-economically impact trend in DT 2026. North America lead on this trend with readiness score of 85 out of 100, while MENA region remains at functional level for this trend with a readiness score of 52 out of 100. The trend spread of digital sovereignty strategies focuses to ensure that digital assets align with domestic values, laws, and security requirements, while strengthening national enabling capacities through regional or national data centers, localized AI model, and support for local tech firms. The trend, the holistic digital revolution, demands highest level of international collaboration among the digital economy stakeholders compared to the other trend. Survey respondents expect that emerging trend converging frontier technologies will be materialized quickly in just over 2 years. These trends show resilience, cooperation, and governance are now core pillar of the digital development. In this slide, we showcase the top 3 most impactful trend from DET report 26 as a result of 406 respondents of the DET survey. These 3 trends are strengthening of end-to-end cybersecurity, the dawn of ambient intelligence, the holistic digital revolution. Compared to the last year, the theme trust and security has become central to the global digital ecosystem as the focus shifts from basic access to empowered people with advanced digital skills and from operational resilience to national level digital economy resilience. I'm sharing with you the regional view of the DET. Strengthening of end-to-end security trend ranks as a first for expected socio-economic impact in all regions except Indo-Pacific and Asia region. Top trends in MENA region, end-to-end cybersecurity, API-enabled data collaboration, and digital surveillance. Highlight grow concern over data control, platform, and cross-border data flows. In Indo-Pacific and Asia region, stronger emphasis on the citizen-facing experience, i.e. ambient intelligence. Europe and Central Asia, North America region has a stronger emphasis on emerging trends such as journalistic, robot, converging frontier tech tied to competitiveness. Thank you. I stop here and hand over the floor to moderate.
Thank you very much, Dr. Syed, for your insights and also to summarize and also reflect on the main findings of the Digital Economy Trends Report 2026. Before we jump to the next part of this session, to the panel discussion, I would like to also invite our audience to be engaged with the following question in the poll. As you could hear in the DET 2026, we identified 12 current digital economy trends. What do you think? Which ones will be the most impactful in 2026? So please vote, make your bet on the most impactful trend out of these 12 that are in the report. And of course, you can read more about this in the report that is publicly available. But now we are looking forward to see your vote on the most impactful one. And we will share the results once it is ready. I'm sorry, just 1 second. One more second from you, and then I think I can see the results, and the majority, that number one voted with around 30% of the votes went to the AI accelerated workforce transformation as the most impactful for this year. And also the second one is powering a sustainable digital economy. And the third is actually on the third place, there's more in the same, but I'm just picking on one, the spread of digital sovereignty strategies. But overwhelmingly, number one, the AI accelerated workforce transformation. Thank you very much for being engaged, and we will get you engaged more a little bit later. And then we can get to the next part with our distinguished experts here joining us, and we will deep dive more into the digital economy trends based on the report 2026 and also our distinguished experts' expertise. I would like to have the first question turning to Ms. Natalie. From your experience, what are some of the biggest shifts you foresee in the digital economy in 2026? We saw that the ET report identified these 12 current digital economy trends. Which do you think will be the most impactful, according to you, your opinion, in 2026? And what are some of the implications you foresee? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Judith. Yeah, I can only echo the report. And many of the trends mentioned in the report refer to AI. And even if it's not a new topic, it's a constantly evolving one. And in 2026, in the private sector, we will continue to see AI-driven transformations when it comes to our internal processes, as well as to the solutions that we offer to our customers. So I'll just mention a few examples. So AI is increasingly moving from cloud to edge. This refers also to the trend in the report, ambient AI, so sensors that, for example, frontline workers can use to interact more with the customers, because those devices will process information and act as their co-pilots. Vertical AI solutions, so businesses will expand their offering of vertical AI solutions that include domain-specific applications. And then, of course, sustainability and cybersecurity, that's an integral part of all customer offerings and will continue to be paramount for success.
Thank you very much. For the next question, I would like to turn to Dr. Emrys. The DET 2026 report points to the growing centrality of trust and security. Why is this becoming such a critical issue now? And what does it reveal about how digital transformation is affecting people, economies, and institutions? Dr. Emrys.
Thank you so much, and a privilege to be part of such a distinguished panel and part of the discussion about such an important report. I think, as Ms. Atur noted, the report highlights a number of really important trends, and as she also noted, particularly highlights the role of AI. I'd like to pull on what I think are some threads that are really important but often under-discussed, and that's picking some of the challenges that AI brings in terms of thinking about what future economies and societies will look like. And particularly, I think the challenge of mis and disinformation, the role of AI-generated fake information that can challenge how customers, citizens, participants in various forms of debate are actually able to make informed decision. And I think this is going to become an increasingly difficult challenge to manage. How do we know that reports coming out of various breaking news events and so on are actually true? How can we trust when politicians are able to be artificially generated saying things that we don't know whether they've actually said. When reports of economic status and indicators are produced, and it's very difficult to actually verify whether they're really true or not. And I think that's going to is already having hugely destabilizing effects on politics, enabling people to make informed decisions, to support the kind of policy positions that they would like to see, for trust in government, in states, to be able to be confident that the states are producing the information, delivering the services, that they are who they say they are. And finally, that the scientific insights, that medical guidance, health information, etc., is actually true. I know, speaking for myself, on my own Instagram feed, for example, I get told I need to be jumping up and down 200 times. I can just do Tai Chi to lose 20 kilos in 2 days. Really? So I think we really need to be conscious of what some of the challenges that these new technologies bring. Finally, I think one of the big challenges for trust of citizens in the state is that the increasingly digital transformation of public services is introducing a disintermediation of the state's relationship with citizens and citizens' experience of the state. Historically, we would interact with public service providers, with officials, etc. Increasingly, we're able to much more efficiently access the services that we need, but without actually interacting with the state. And I think we don't really know what the long-run effects of that are likely to be for the citizen-state compact, which is critical to ensuring that we have a stable, trusted, and healthy political, social, and economic context.
Thank you very much for the insights. We will turn back to also regulation versus rushing over technological innovations in a bit. But next, I would like to turn back to Natalie, focusing on the private sector. How is the growing emphasis on trust, security, and responsible technology use translating into concrete strategic choices, particularly in relation to skills, workforce transformation, and investment decisions?
Yeah, so security is an integral part of our products and services, but I'd like to focus on trust, as Dr. Shoemaker was also mentioning. And it's interesting that also the poll result was about AI transformation. So I'd like to talk about trust in the internal corporate context and what technology actually means for the workforce and the implications of digital transformation. So when it comes to digital transformation or AI transformation, we need to make sure that we focus on the business goals and use technology or AI in particular as a means, it's a tool to get there in a more productive and optimized way. And the most effective decisions that companies will make are the ones where humans and AI work together. So the trick is, and that links to trust, is to find out when humans should follow AI recommendations or even outsource their decisions and actions to AI, and when they should override it. So, and to make that call, you need to measure the effectiveness of those decisions. And from a technical point of view, you can use experiments, you can use what-if models. That's the data science side of it. But then there's also behavioral science side of it. And as we all know, behavior changes are slower than technology changes because it requires trust. It requires trust building. And that's why to build trust with the workforce, it's very important to focus on both the human aspect as well as on improving AI performance. There's also a legal and compliance component to it because humans need to be accountable for decisions. So I'll give a concrete example from the pricing domain, because that's my area of work, but you can apply it to any other business function. So in pricing, we use an optimizer. It's an algorithm that that is built based on AI and machine learning. It recommends optimal prices to the product managers for our products. And those prices are based on the business goals and the rules that those product managers define. Now, they then can decide whether to approve or reject the recommendation made by the AI. And depending on how this algorithm performs, part of their decisions may be entirely automated and taken over by it. So their roles will change. But in the end, they're still accountable for pricing. So it is very important to have approval systems, to monitor the performance of decision making, be it AI-driven or human-driven. So when it comes to investments, because that was part of your question, it will continue to be data infrastructure, AI, data science, but it's also going to be about human machine collaboration and change management skills.
Thank you very much for this perspective. It highlights a lot of emerging opportunities and challenges at the same time. I would like to turn and bring in Dr. Syed. And stepping back, how can governments and policymakers put in place the right national enabling conditions to support the uptake of digital economy trends and fully realize the opportunities they create?
Thank you for asking this important question. The starting point should be the identification of 2 to 3 priority DET trends aligned with the national needs, with enabling conditions as a key implementation factors. Use the DET and then mapping to translate trends into action. For each trend, DET identifies 3 top enabling drivers, which are directly mapped to the then pillars, reinforcing the coherence between trend analysis and trend readiness assessment. Use the DE Trends Readiness Score as a diagnostic measure that is an initial indication of countries' readiness for digital economic trends, enabling a country to identify gaps and prioritize investment areas to support digital economic growth. For instance, DET finds digital infrastructure, innovation, and digital capabilities as the top drivers for various emerging DE trends. These are the highest leverage area to invest in for countries to capitalize on the growth of emerging trends. By linking these insights with the stakeholder recommendations as policy actions, the DET report offers targeted strategic recommendations for each stakeholder group and DE trends, allowing the stakeholders, including policymakers, to move from DE trend awareness to specific policy, regulatory, institutional, and investment actions. Closing gaps through DCO peer learning involve leveraging the DCO impact platform, a government digital solution marketplace, to find, compare, and adopt proven digital government solution from peers. Thank you very much. The floor is to the moderator, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to also broaden the scope and the horizon, and looking beyond 2026, turning back to Natalie, what do you see as the most important longer-term shifts shaping the global economy?
So even beyond 26, I think we will continue testing the limits of AI and how it can make our work more productive, how it can help us make better decisions. We will invent use cases that we can't imagine right now. We will experiment how much we can automate, how much we can outsource to AI, how much we have to automate because of cost pressures, but also how much we want to keep in human hands and how we will manage accountability. So companies will have to keep on upskilling their workforce to make it AI savvy. At the same time, skills that cannot be replaced by technology, like human connection, will become more important.
Thank you very much. Emrys, I would like to have the next question to you, and back to the AI. The report points to a growing risk of an AI divide, suggesting that certain digital economy trends may exacerbate existing disparities. Could you elaborate on this and discuss the potential implications for lower income regions and countries? And actually, I would add to this, there was already a question in the chat from one of the audience participants on that, highlighting the role of the lower income regions and countries.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to respond to this. I mean, I think firstly, let's acknowledge that the question is based on the recognition of the value that AI can place. For all of the challenges that I was highlighting earlier, I think we need to recognize that AI can potentially have a huge role in economic growth, and not just economic growth, but also broader competitiveness and security and so on. So one of the things that the report highlights is the emerging challenge of an AI divide, that some countries are unable to access, unable to utilize, unable to benefit from the possibilities that AI technologies present. And I think one of the implications of this is that one of the most potentially transformative technologies that we see will be unevenly spread. As has been said by others, the future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed. And I think this is one of the great challenges that we may see with AI. Some concrete examples of what this looks like and what possibly could be done to address this. I think one of the really big areas where we see a very big uneven distribution of access to AI is around, firstly, just basic digital connectivity. We know that in many parts of the world, basic access to the internet is limited. And this, particularly for sort of wider population scale access to and benefit from AI, is a huge barrier to achieving this. So it's boring. We've talked about it for years, but we now know that connectivity is a critical enabler for access to wider technologies. A second area, though, where I think it's really important to recognize that there's a huge level of uneven access is around governance. The ability of different states to understand, to introduce appropriate regulation, appropriate governance mechanisms, etc., to ensure that AI adoption is adopted in a way that's meaningful for each country's context is very uneven. And I'm currently supporting a number of multilateral governance of data processes. And one of the things we see is that some countries are very invested, very skilled up in understanding what they want to see coming out of these processes. Other countries aren't. And there's a huge barrier to them being able to articulate, advocate for, and push the kind of approaches that they would like to see in approaches to data and AI governance. So I think the AI governance divide is a growing challenge that's going to be a massive driver of inequity. The second area, I think, is also around issues of digital sovereignty. Now, this is a term that's gained increasing salience as geopolitics has changed over the last, year and a half or so. And I think one of the challenges that this introduces is many politicians, many policymakers are saying we need to push for data sovereignty. You see this in Europe, we see this across a growing number of countries in Africa. And yet what the term actually means is increasingly hard to define, or at least it means multiple things: competitiveness, security, etc. And I think one of the challenges for policymakers operating at this cutting edge of technology and the hugely evolving, rapidly evolving space of digital transformation is having the knowledge, the tools, the insights to know what they want to achieve with these technologies, and from a policy level, how to actually achieve them. So from an AI governance divide, I think one of the most important responses is firstly, basic connectivity. Secondly, giving policymakers the insights, the knowledge, the benchmarks and the policy frameworks that they can pursue in order to ensure that their policy aspirations can be supported by the policy frameworks, goals, and strategies that they need in order to drive, for example, the creating an enabling environment for the private sector to flourish, to provide services. But this governance divide is a critical barrier that I think multilateral organizations like DCO and others have a very important role in helping to address.
Thank you very much. Absolutely agree with all your shared insights. And with that, I think you mentioned one of the most important ones around governance. And we would like to now involve again our audience and we are curious to hear from you as well over there. As you can see the question, we would like to hear which should happen first. First option, faster rollout of AI and AI-enabled technologies, or stronger governance rules around AI releases. Third option, they should happen together. And fourth, depends on sector or country. So let's have a few seconds on that, and please vote in the poll about this question. Rollout of AI first or governance first, as we just heard from Emrys as well about his opinion, and which is one of the most important ones. So let's just take 5 more seconds on that, but I see the results shaping up around the third option, which is they should happen together. And I think now the poll is ended. So the option voted with the biggest, 53% of the audience voted on they should happen together. The second of 29%, stronger governance rules. And then the least two, faster rollout and depends on sector or country. Thank you very much for sharing your opinion. And we will have one more question as part of the discussion here. And I would like to turn to Dr. Syed. The DET survey respondents identified the holistic digital trade revolution as the digital economy trend requiring the greatest level of international cooperation. Why do you think this is the case? And what developments are currently shaping this area?
Thanks again for raising these important questions. First, the current digital economy trend, the holistic digital trade revolution, reflects a fundamental shift in international trade toward digitally delivered services and data-driven exchange. This transition is driving the need for new trade agreements, interoperable standards, and coherent regulations governing cross-border data flows, with the objective of enabling a trusted, secure, and inclusive global digital trade ecosystem. Building on this shift, I think the identification of holistic digital trade as the most important for the international cooperation underscores the critical need for global coordination and harmonized legal framework to enable efficient digital trade. Without such coordination, regulatory fragmentation increases, creating complexity and compliance costs for the companies operating across borders, especially in areas like cybersecurity, data protection, and consumer protection. In this context, the DCO, Digital Trade Acceleration Initiative, can play a significant role in unlocking the potential of digital trade across countries worldwide, including DCO member states, by identifying barriers and strategies to address them through a combination of research, business surveys, and multilateral dialogue. As a part of these efforts, in last year, DCO published a report on digital trade acceleration initiatives that map the regulatory environment of 16 member states, capturing the diversity of approaches to digital trade policy, particularly in emerging areas such as artificial intelligence, data governance, and cross-border e-commerce. It highlights opportunities for member states and other countries of the world for greater regulatory and policy alignment to improve market access, build consumer trust, and support more inclusive and resilient digital economies. Thank you. I hope I answered your questions. And floor to moderator, please.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you very much. With that, I would like to conclude our panel discussion. And I would like to again hear from our audience, because we'd like to capture feedback to enhance the future webinars and the editions of the DET, the next editions. Therefore, you will find a link in the chat. It's a form, it's a feedback form. It's a short one. So please take and click on that link to answer a few questions for feedback on both the report and the webinar. Please take just a minute on that, and after that we will move into the question and answer part of this session. Did you find the link? I hope it goes all on well. You have the link over there. Just take please 1 minute to quickly fill in this form so that we can have your opinion and feedback, and we can improve on the next webinars and also on the report content. If you are ready with it, those of you who are faster, then you can also think about your questions to our experts. We already saw a few questions in the chat, but the next few minutes we will have time for questions from you, and our distinguished experts will answer. And please also then thank you very much for also some nice feedback coming up in the chat. So thank you for that. And please put questions in the chat. Please also address with to whom you put the question, to whom you would like the question to be answered. And I think with the feedback, we can move on to this question and answer part from our audience. I have a question that was asked a little bit earlier here. We could start with that. There was a question here around, with the spread of digital sovereignty strategies, how can cross-border digital trade platforms remain compliant without fragmenting the user experience? Yes, I think Dr. Emrys maybe to answer that. You pointed out on this before.
Sure, and thank you. It's a great question, and I'm currently in the middle of some work assessing the economic value of cross-border data flows, particularly under different governance regimes. And I think one of the great challenges is that cross-border data flows require alignment of data governance. And this is a huge challenge in an area where data governance reflects geopolitical considerations. So, of course, Europe is pushing GDPR, America is pushing free flow with trust, and China is pushing its own approaches and so on. And many countries, particularly countries with lower resources, have difficulty navigating the competing requirements of these different regulatory frameworks, and also the aspiration of protecting national sovereignty. But I think there are ways through, and countries that we're working with are seeing ways of harmonizing different governance approaches, harmonizing different regulatory frameworks in order to ensure that, for example, they're able to both enter into contractual relationships with business providers in Europe, in the US, and other parts of the world. And the challenge and requirements here are ensuring, as I was saying earlier, that states have the governance capacity, that regulators, the people setting policy, have the knowledge and understanding to develop the appropriate regulatory frameworks in order to ensure that they're able to participate and interact with customers, businesses, providers, and enable travel across borders with countries that they see a strategic opportunity with.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I also want to add some points in addition to the doctor viewpoint. Basically, I think this is a very important question. There are three major other aspects that maybe maximize these aspects. One of those is like adopt modern compliance architectures that localize data, identity, and regulatory control by jurisdiction while keeping a unified front-end experience for users. Second is amend compliance by design through interoperable standards, automated policy engines, and real-time regulatory update across markets. And the last point is leveraging trust cross-border frameworks and mutual recognition mechanism to reduce duplication while preserving seamless user journeys. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Syed. I actually would like to have another question from here, from the back, and we'll get back to the beginning of the questions as well. But their guests in the report, I saw the graph with the 3 themes. All the developments are divided according to 3 levels: positive impact, moderate, and highly positive. So will the technologies have mostly positive impact? Maybe Dr. Syed, to you on that from the report.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this is also because now the technology is one of the in the early stage, technology is a supportive aspects. Now in the current age, we are living in the digital world, and technology is a very critical from all aspects. Whether we are considering the aspects that are covering the cross borders, whether we are considering the aspects toward the digital transformation, whether we are considering the aspects for the utilization of any technology in domains like the health, like the education, like the finance and justice. So technology is one of the aspect that is one of the critical for that we identify in the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next question, in the Commonwealth, developing members like Nigeria face an energy paradox, where the infrastructure required to power digital ecosystems is constrained by basic grid reliability, and the emergence of agentic AI poses a specific risk to Commonwealth members with large BPO sectors, India, South Africa, Ghana, and Jamaica, threatening to automate complex workflows previously handled by human labor. Can you elaborate how countries like these should respond? Who would like to answer? Dr. Emrys and Natalie after, maybe?
I can say a few words. I think, and this also connects with sovereignty questions. One of the countries that I think has been really innovative in navigating some of the challenges is Bhutan. So one of the things that Bhutan has been really innovative with is managing the constraints that it has around access to resources, but leveraging the resources that it does have access to. So one of the things it has been able to do very strategically is use the hydropower that it's able to have significant access to. It has challenges around pricing agreements with its main exporter, India, its big neighbor. But what they've been able to do is use the power that they have to power Bitcoin mining. And I think this has been a really innovative approach to using the power that they do have to invest in the value creation opportunities that they have access to. And this is now translating into really ambitious digital transformation plans that the country has to develop particular approaches to, for example, smart cities, to developing digital technologies, and particularly approaches that uphold the values that the country has as being at the center of its sense of national sovereignty, particularly mindfulness, human-centered, et cetera. So I think there's some really interesting examples of ways in which states can utilize the particular opportunities they have, overcome some of the constraints they face to really deliver some significant value for their future trajectories.
Thank you so much. Natalie, anything to add?
I guess you're referring to the workflows being automated, and
yeah, exactly.
Yes, I mean, in the end, it's a choice, right? But you can automate, and it does not necessarily mean that the human labor will disappear. It just means that it will change, and then that needs to be managed, right? Like, well, how will this work change? It can also be an opportunity. But it is true that agentic AI will lead to possibility to automate a lot of processes. And then we enter into the trust issues, and of course you need to have good like accountability systems and monitoring systems to make sure that it is working the way it is intended to.
Thank you very much. We have a question to Dr. Syed. Considering the regional view of the trends from the DT 2026, I see Indo-Asia and Pacific are clubbed as one region. I think this might skew the actual position and trends of digital readiness, activities and growth in the Pacific, specifically small island developing states. Is the DET data disaggregated further by region and countries like Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, to have more granular insights and see firsthand countries of region that might require support and investment, preventing further exclusion? That was to Dr. Syed.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the DET 20 applies regional aggregation for high-level trend analysis, but underlying data set is desegregated at the country level, including Pacific SDIs such as Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga. This allows distinct digital readiness level, capacity gaps, and growth constraints in Pacific to be identified, even when presented with a broader regional grouping. The regional clustering is used for analytical coherence, while country-level insights are retained to inform targeted policy support, investment prioritization, and inclusion strategies, ensuring that the specific needs of specific SDS are not upset or overlooked. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we have the last question. I'm just sorry, this was a bit earlier, and I'm going back to this one. The World Bank 2025 World Development Report highlighted the importance of standards for economic development. And I was wondering, what do you think about this topic for the digital economy? How can developing economies better tackle together these two areas in order to maximize their potential benefits? I would be truly grateful if you could give us any advice or reading recommendations to further learn on this subject. Who would like to answer? Dr. Emrys, maybe on sharing a few thoughts on that, or Dr. Syed?
I can let Dr. Syed go first, but perhaps you could repeat the question. I didn't actually catch the specific question.
Yeah, okay. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
So it was the, hold on for a second, the World Bank's digital economy, the development report highlighted the importance of standards for economic development. And the questioner was wondering, what do you think about this topic for the digital economy? How can developing economies better tackle together these two areas in order to maximize their potential benefits?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, of course, the standard has its own value, whether we consider for the overall technology or for the digital economy trend as well. So we also consider this aspect as one of the enablers for our current and emerging trends, and we consider with respect to their outlook of the member state when we are considering the assessment of readiness of a country. So we will see the how these countries are like following these international standards from relevant aspects. Suppose if we are asking the cross-border data flow perspective, so we will see what exactly the standards are followed by a country to make progress on these current or emerging trends. So yeah, I agree. We We also focus in DT 26 on standards, and we also continue in our future report as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask the closing question to all of you as we could conclude. If you could distill one key takeaway from the report for global leaders on navigating cultural shifts, labor disruptions, and future preparation, what would it be? How optimistic are you about the digital economy's role in creating a more equitable world by 2030? Natalie, Emrys, and Syed, in that order, please. Natalie.
Well, as the poll also pointed out, I think AI transformation is really so important because it covers both topics, right? The technological change as well as the way we manage it, and that says it all. It's we need to, in the end, we have the choice on how to manage these technical developments and in which way, where we want to bring it to. So. It's not an option to just stay passive, close your eyes, or go the other extreme and find it all only positive. No, it needs to be actively managed by all countries and by all companies.
Thank you very much. Emrys.
I think to build on Natalie's sentiment, I think one of the things I would hope to see in 2030 is that states and people are able to participate in all areas of setting the path of digital transformation in a direction that reflects national and individual values and aspirations. The questions of digital sovereignty, the shared approaches to standards, and most importantly, that the multilateral frameworks that support those processes remain resilient and vibrant in a world where multilateralism, I think, is increasingly being challenged. So I would hope that digital transformation remains a multilateral endeavor, a shared effort around shared values and shared standards.
Thank you very much. Syed, Dr. Syed.
Yeah, thank you very much. As I explained in my briefing about the Digital Economy Trend Report 2026, the highlights of our findings, particularly from the survey that we get from experts, about 406 domain experts. So we identified two key expected challenges. One is the increased industry concentration. Another was there is increased gap between the capital and the labor income. So these challenges needs a cooperation. As you know, DCO, Digital Cooperation Organization, is more focused on cooperation. So we really need the stakeholder cooperation, the cooperation between the businesses, civil society with governments to tackle these challenges, how we tackle the industry concentrations, how we tackle the gap between the capital and labor income to boost the global digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, I would like to also give back the floor to Dr. Syed for his closing remarks.
Thank you very much. We kindly invite you to the participant of this event to complete the post-event survey offline. After this attending this survey, I request our expert to share the web link of this post-event survey. We really need your valuable insight that will help us to enhance the development of forthcoming Digital Economy Trend Report 2027. As I explained, this is the third edition. We also have will publish the next edition, but we really need your support by filling this survey so that we will get your input, your valuable feedbacks, and we will consider your viewpoint when we develop the Digital Economy Trend Report 2027. In the end, thank you all for your participation in today's webinar on the DCO Digital Economy Trend Report 2026. Let's carry the momentum from today's discussions forward to shape the priorities and actions that will define a more inclusive, secure, and sustainable digital economy. Bye. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all, and thank you also for our distinguished experts that you joined us and our distinguished audience for taking the time. I would like to also thank the Digital Cooperation Organization on behalf of Horizon Group, the trust in collaborating with us, and we will see you in the next edition and next webinars. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Recording